I'm fortunate to live in rural San Luis Obispo County, which puts me smack dab in the middle of mule deer country. While yes, mule deer are attractive to look at, they can wreak havoc on shrubs, fruit trees, and flowers. In this video, I'll give you 4 proven strategies for keeping deer damage under control. Deer usually feed in the early morning or later in the evening, so you may not ever see them unless you see their hoof prints, their droppings, or of course their requisite damage. Where I live, the deer are so accustomed to people that they routinely sleep under trees in our property or walk across the driveway in broad daylight. So what can we do about it? Follow these 4 steps. If you really need to keep deer out of an area, the only guaranteed way to do it is to build an 8-foot deer fence. I know it seems pricey, but if you've got a large garden or an orchard to protect, it may well be worth the investment. Mule deer can jump over a 6-foot fence, and under pressure they can go even higher. That's why it needs to be 8 feet tall. It also needs to go to the ground so that the deer can't crawl underneath it. The most economical fences are made out of welded mesh wire or a combination of welded mesh wire and high tensile wire. If your garden's on a slope as ours is, and there's a spot in the fence where it's a little bit lower than maybe 7 or 8 feet, what you can do is make it difficult for the deer to land on the other side by having planters or wine barrels as we've done. That discourages the deer from even thinking about jumping over. If you only need to protect a few plants, or if you only need to protect them until they're strong enough and big enough to withstand a little deer nibbling, then consider encasing the plants in strong welded mesh wire cages. You can keep these on for just 1 season or 2 till the plant's big enough, or you may consider keeping them on full time as we do with these orange trees that are always subjected to heavy deer foraging. No plant is 100% deer-proof. If the deer are hungry enough and there's a shortage of food, they'll eat almost anything. But there are categories of plants they tend to stay away from. Not surprisingly, they avoid toxic plants like this oleander. They also avoid plants with strong odors like lavender, rosemary, and most ornamental sages. In addition, native plants are great options, things like yarrow, hummingbird sage, toyon, and island snapdragon. Deer pretty much leave those alone. Deer preferences tend to be regional, so it's a good idea to check with neighboring gardeners or your local nursery to find out what the deer are eating in your neck of the woods. There are a number of deer repellent products on the market, and they're meant to make the foliage distasteful to deer. Unfortunately, they're neither very effective nor practical. This product says to apply the spray liberally to the foliage and perimeter of your plants once a week. And this one says to apply until the foliage is wet every 3 to 7 days. That's just not going to work for those of us with a large garden or yard. Plus, they're not likely to be reliable during the summer when the deer pressure is heavy and the food is really scarce. You can also buy frightening devices like this solar sprinkler that sprays when a deer walks by. This may work for a few days, but deer quickly become accustomed to the disturbance, so it's not likely to work for very long. Thanks for watching. I've added information on mule deer and deer fencing in the description box below. I've also included several lists of deer-resistant plants. Remember, if you've got a gardening question, ask us. Master gardeners are always available to help.